Well, hello and welcome. My name is Velma. You can connect with me at velmanolds.com. This is all about your leadership chat. What does that mean? You get to listen in on valuable insights from valuable leaders just like you. I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe so that you never miss another episode. And if this is of value to you, please share the nuggets that you're going to take away from all these great leaders. Well, hello and welcome to your leadership chat. Please give a big welcome to my special guest and your valuable leader, Gary Gregory. Hey, Gary, welcome to your leadership chat.
Velma, thank you so much for the invite. I am beyond thrilled to get to join you, hang out with you, because you told me you're in some sunny weather. We've got some dreary weather here in the Dallas area. So just
Yeah.
I'm feeling your sunny vibes. So
Right.
you've already lifted my spirits for the morning. So thank you.
Well, anything we could do, and of course, I'm sure there's some espresso in that cup that's helping you out
Yes.
there. But anything we can do from the Sunshine State, we are here to serve. So I'm so excited.
Receive it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh no, this is going to be so much fun. And for those of you that are listening in, I just got to tell you, Gary is a blast. I've known him I've lost count. So he's just a good person, all around great person. You're going to love this podcast. So, Gary, I know a little bit about you, but maybe those that are listening, some of them are meeting you for the first time. So, could you share a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Gary Gregory, and I am a husband of over 31 years to my amazing wife. We have four children together, and that is first and foremost. And then I'm an author and a speaker. So I have written, in fact, Velma, you introduced me, or I connected with you to be a first-time author with you, co-authored a book, and from that experience, ended up writing several additional books,
Yeah.
working on another one as we speak. So I'm excited to have that one come out soon. And as a speaker, a keynote speaker, and also work in the multifamily industry
Hmm.
and have been doing that for, gosh, 25 plus years. It's hard to believe it's gone by so fast. So,
Wow.
yeah, a lot of things going on to keep me busy. And it is a blast. I get to choose to
Yeah.
do all these things.
Yeah, and you have a podcast, right? So I know
I,
I've been on.
you
Yeah.
have, you were, Velma, you were like one of my first guests. And you were
Yeah.
so
Thank you.
gracious when I did my first podcast. You were one of my first guests and helped me kind of muddle my way through it as I was kind of experimenting with the format, kind of fill it out. So you truly helped me kind of format and formulate how that podcast should kind of unfold. So thank you for that. I want
Yeah.
to give you honor for that.
Oh, Gary is being so modest, you guys. You wait till he talk. So, Gary, you probably know how this goes. I shamefully promote the book, The Valuable Leader, here on your leadership chat, and I'd love for you to kick us off and share a little story. Who in Gary's life would you say is a valuable leader? And I define that person as someone that you would say, Velma, if it was not for this person in my life, I wouldn't be the man I am today. I wouldn't be who I am. So, Gary, who's the valuable leader in your life?
So, I'm gonna give credit to three individuals that have really impacted my life in a positive way. I'm gonna start off with my dad. My dad
Mhm.
was, my first and foremost leader out of the gate, and I say that because, he was the example that I had in my world growing up, and my
Yeah.
dad had such a strong work ethic. My dad had was very disciplined, and all of the things, his values and principles were very, very solid.
Yeah.
Growing up, I knew where my dad stood. There was
Hmm.
no question, what his expectations were, what he expected of us, and
Sure.
you know the accountability that came along with that
Right.
if you veered off of his expectations, which were the expectations and the principles and the foundations that my dad built
Hmm.
and modeled as an example for me. I still mirror those
Wow.
in my own life.
Right.
And it's interesting, as you grow up, you're like, oh, my dad doesn't know anything. And then as you get a little bit older, you're like, well, maybe my dad was smart. Maybe he did know what he was
Right.
talking about. And today, I look in the mirror and I see my dad in me. And every
Yeah.
time I speak to my wife or I speak to my children, I hear my dad
Yeah.
come through my my words and my intentions and my faith
Yeah.
and my action. So my dad is my initial leader that modeled and set the example for me. Now, the other two leaders in my life that were introduced into my life later, probably about 8 years ago, that have had a tremendous impact are two individuals, and they're both my pastors. One is Pastor Keith Craft, and the other is his son, Pastor Josh Craft. And the examples and the energy and the revelations that they have shared, um, through sermons and through all of the conversations and of course
Yeah.
books that they have written, um, have truly transformed. So they've been able to take my dad's example, my dad's modeling, and they've
Yeah.
been able to elevate it and take it to the next level.
Okay.
And, it's just that opportunity when you realize when you connect with the leader, if they
Right.
can add value to what you've already have,
Mm-hmm.
then you connect with them and you just want to absorb everything that they say. And you look for opportunities to connect with them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so those three individuals, my dad and my two pastors, I would say are the three most valuable leaders
Mm.
in my life. And I'm extremely grateful for the
Yeah.
modeling, the examples, correction that they have shared with me. And I'm just so grateful for all of that.
Right. Oh, I love that. And I love the word model,
Mhm.
modeling leadership, setting the example,
Mhm.
walking the talk versus
Yeah,
sometimes I know, we look at leadership and there it has this image of, well, do as I say, not necessarily as I do. And you've turned that upside down and the examples of your dad and Pastor Keith and Pastor Josh talking about how to model the way, if you will,
yeah.
for others. So, oh man, that's awesome. I love that story. And I love that word model, modeling the way. That's awesome. So this is leading, I mean, you like led us right into the next question. You're like setting this thing up. And I told you guys listening in that Gary could, just gonna do this for us. So the next question I want to ask is around paying it forward. So,
Mm.
I'm a true believer to know and not to do is not to know. And so,
Wait,
um,
wait, say that again, Velma. Absorb that.
yeah,
That was
right.
good. Say that again.
Yeah, no, to know something and not to do it is to not know it because it's not any value. You know it and you do nothing with it, then what good is it to you, right? So you don't know it truly.
Oh,
Um, so yeah, so I'm a true believer. When I teach and train, and you know this, I'm a you know, my passion is around do something to move yourself forward. Even if you trip and fall, you'll still be further than you were before. You'll know what not to do, get up from where you are and keep going. So
yeah.
to know and not to do is not to know. So now
Love
that you know what it is to be a
that.
valuable leader. That's a huge responsibility. You
Mhm.
understand what it means to model the way. So my question is, Gary, how do you personally pay it forward so that others can see or, uncover the valuable leader in them? How do you do that for them?
Ooh, so Velma, thank you for. I'm learning from you, so I'm just grateful to be on this podcast
Yeah,
with you. So thank you for that. I'll
okay.
tell you, Velma, I do this. I pay it forward by being salty.
Mm-hmm.
And I say salty because I'll share with you my favorite Bible verse is Matthew 5:13. You are the salt of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that Bible verse just intrigued me. Like, why that statement? And so I was able to do some research, and I'll make a kind of a quick statement on that. But I did some research. Why salt? What is the purpose of salt? And and I did some cultural
Yeah.
research on this as well. And I found that there was based on my research and kind of my extrapolation of all of that, there were four components of salt. And that's why, salt was so critical um, in that time frame when that Bible verse was drafted or
Yeah.
and when it was said. And
Hmm.
so my research uncovered and which I truly believe is salt has four principles: balance, flavor, value, and relationship.
Hmm.
And so when I say I'm salty, I say that I model those four principles. And
Hmm.
balance, the first one is the way I pay it forward is I realize that everyone, all of my team members, there has to be a balance in their world. And so when I say balance, it's a matter of, the things that you're doing, the things that you're focusing on, if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. So it's important to
Right.
make sure that they understand that creating that balance is first and foremost extremely important. And you have to be very intentional with creating that balance in your world. We talk about work-life balance and personal balance, but I truly believe you have to be intentional with that and understand that sometimes that balance is going to adjust a little bit. Like
Hmm.
when you take time off from work, the balance goes towards family, and that's important. And sometimes you've got big projects at work that you have to spend a little bit more time on that. So it's a constant teeter-totter, if you will.
Sure.
So I model that by, making sure my team understands that there's got to be a balance in life and your work and everything of that nature. So I do that as well. Now, flavor, for me, flavor is adding some fun
Hmm.
into the things that you're doing. If we're just constantly head down, butt up, and we're not really enjoying the experience, then we're missing out.
Right.
And I also believe that's part of appreciation. So appreciation brings flavor to your experience,
Hmm.
whether it's your personal experience or whether it's your work experience. So if you're appreciating people and their languages, then they're more likely to enjoy their personal life and their professional life. And so there's that experience and that flavor that you're adding to all their experiences at work and in personal life. And then value is, what can I do to support you? How
Mm.
can I help you do the things that you need to do? Can I provide the resources? Can I provide the the time so that you can focus on the things that you need to do? I'm here as a sounding board. So
Right.
my team members have always known that they can come to me and I will do my best to add value. If I
Yeah.
can't add value, I'm going to be quiet, and let you do your thing.
Hmm.
And then finally, relationship. None of this works. None of those principles work until you've created a relationship with the people around you. And that, when I speak relationship, I mean trust and
Mm.
um, understanding and all the things that if I was to provide feedback to you, the more you trust me, the more you realize the value, the flavor, and the balance that I've helped you with, the more likely you are to receive that feedback, to receive
Hmm.
that support and redirection along the way. But nothing works until you've created that relationship with the people around you. And that also includes, they become your alignments, and you're building that relationship so you can correct and you can help each other out. So
Yeah.
that, for me, when I pay it forward, it's just about being salty so that, based on my principles, I can show balance, I can model the balance, I can model flavor, I can model value, and I can
Yeah.
model the relationships. Just like you said, if you're
Yeah.
not doing the things,
Yeah.
then you don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That was a terrible paraphrase, but
No, but your point is there. You're struggling to deliver on what you say you understand and do. So
yeah,
I love your acrostic around the salt and being salty and the reference to that and those components that we all need in our life and the fact that the just having that framework in your mind keeps you focused on the things that you need to do, to actually model, as you say, model the type of behavior, the type of leadership that you want to see in others, because that's what someone has instilled in you.
yeah,
They sprinkle some salt in you, and
yeah. And,
some of
and
us,
and
yeah. Go ahead.
some of us need that salt on, sprinkled on us. And
Mhm.
what I find so valuable is, and I'm so confident because the world around us changes
Yeah,
constantly. The outside world changes, but my inside principles will not change.
right,
So if it's a difficult situation, I'm still gonna be myself through my
right,
principles. If the world
right.
is easy, I'm still going to be myself through my principles. So there's that consistency and
Yeah.
authenticity. So when the people around me see me, and they build that relationship, they know what to
Hmm.
expect from me. I'm not
Right.
going to change based on the circumstances
Circumstances.
around me, whatever the
Right.
pressure is, whatever the stress is, good, bad, indifferent, or whatever it may be. What
Hmm.
I am is going to be based on these principles, and that's what I want to pay forward, so that I'm
Yeah.
modeling that approach.
Well, and that's full circle because Matthew 5:13, as you referenced earlier, talks about you are the salt of the earth. And so if you are that, then it doesn't matter what happens in the world around us,
Yeah.
and you said it, I am. So you
Yes.
are salt, which is balance, flavor, value in
Relationship.
your relationships with others. So very well said. Thank you. That was beautiful and a great takeaway for us to be able to understand how to model it forward. Um, and so Gary, when we talk about you know, valuable leaders in your life, and you have been blessed, and you have several of them, and I'm sure there's more,
Mhm.
because I'm sure that we should have talked about your lovely wife, Marianne, and so, but that's okay. I forgive you. I was really
Hey,
expecting that.
she's that goes without saying. She's
Uh,
like a strong, she's a foundation in my world. So yeah,
I
most
totally
definitely.
understand. Absolutely, absolutely. And then you gave us not only from what you've learned, but how you've then, crafted it to remind yourself and keep yourself grounded, if you will, in how to move and pay it forward in the lives of others. And so my next question is around listeners always love the fact that, well, it's great you have valuable leaders and it's great you know how to pay it forward, and I'm walking in my leadership journey, I'm on my leader's pathway, and everybody's path is different. But what would be one big takeaway that Gary would want to give to listeners on how can they become more value as a leader in their own life? What would you say?
I'll give you three things, Velma. Learn, connect, raise your hand.
Mm,
Learning is a choice. No one can force you to learn. So you have to choose. You have to pre-decide to learn. Never stop learning. So for example, if you're working for a company, there most companies have a training department, which are
right,
great. Now, but you have to understand that the training departments at a company that you work for are going to train you to do your job
right,
well, which is fantastic and that is valuable, of course.
right.
Now, if you want to grow, if you want to take yourself to the next level beyond where you're at right now, you got to learn. You got to constantly find opportunities to
Yeah,
fill your mind, fill your spirit with something new, something additional, something that'll add value to you so
yeah.
that you in turn can add value to the world around you. So look for books to read, look for webinars to watch, look for, you know, whatever it may be, associations to join. Um, just get yourself out of where you are today and learn, find opportunities. Maybe there's something that intrigues you. Go
Yeah.
pursue it. even if it's different from where you're at right now, you never know that that weird thing that just intrigues you and you learn about it may add value to you and can add value to where you're at the moment.
Sure.
And who knows that weird added value can take you to the next level. So I just encourage you to learn. Never stop learning. Just look for opportunities, just to find some gold nuggets, put them in your pocket for later, but hang on to them and do that learning. The second thing is connect. Connect with
Mhm.
people around you. Find alignments. I I will stand on my soapbox forever to find to encourage people to find alignments. Don't do this life alone.
Mhm.
People that you want to connect with, people that maybe you want to emulate, maybe people that you trust, that you've built a relationship with, and say, hey, you know what, Velma, you're an alignment in my life. I trust you that if you see me doing something boneheaded,
Yeah.
something off the wall, and you're like, hey, Gary, bring it back. I trust Velma to give me some constructive feedback. No matter how difficult it is, I've got people that I surround myself with, my circle. I've got, a very inner circle, and I've got, these concentric circles of people in my life that I
Mhm.
trust and
Mhm.
that I lean on in difficult times, good times. But I know, just for example, Velma, if I chatted with you and you're like, Gary, no, I'm going to trust your feedback, and your
Sure.
feedback's going to have greater weight than anything else that comes at me. So
Yeah.
connect with people, get alignments, find people that have your best interest at heart and connect with them, add value to them. That's so huge. Don't do this life
Right.
alone.
Oh.
And then the last thing is raise your hand. The reason why I say raise your hand is that's an action. So you do these things, you learn, you're growing yourself, you're developing yourself outside of just kind of where you are, the normal world. You're doing something not normal because you're growing and
Yeah.
you're connecting with people, and you've got these concentric circles of people that add value to your life. And then you have to take action. And Velma,
Yeah.
you brought it up earlier, but when you raise your hand, that is faith. That is an action that you take on your own behalf to say, look, I've got an idea. I've got a suggestion. I have a recommendation. Or you raise your hand for yourself to say, you know what? Here's what I want to do. But you're not going to do anything. You're not going to help the world. You're not going to help yourself if you don't raise your hand and you don't say, listen, speak up, do
Mhm.
something. Because as you learn, as you connect, you're going to create something new in you. And there's an opportunity to raise your hand, to add value to not only for yourself, but the world around you. And now I'll share with you a quick example. When I was in my career, I was at a specific job title, and I saw somebody and I wanted their job.
Mhm.
And so what I told my immediate upline, I was like, hey, I want that person's job. How can I learn that person's job? He's like, well, go talk to that person. So I connected with that person and told them straight up, I want your job when you get promoted. And so I connected with that person. I learned their job while doing my job. I raised my hand eventually when that person got promoted, and I was able to fill that position when that person got promoted. Not only did it make that person look good because they
Yeah.
had mentored somebody to fill that role quickly,
Right.
but I got to jump into that role.
Yeah.
But it took me learning, it took me connecting with the right people at the right place at the right time for the right things to happen. And I
Sure.
raised my hand to make it happen.
Wow. I love that one. Raise your hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't raise your hand, no one's going to raise your hand for you. I think a lot of people sit back and wait for someone to pick
Mhm.
me, pick me, pick me. But, and then they're just lost in the sea of those that are raising their hands saying,
Exactly.
So great example, beautiful takeaways. I told you guys Gary just wouldn't give us one. I asked for one big takeaway and he gave us three. It's just a multiplier here. But you always over deliver. And so I thank you so much for that. Learn. I can't, agree more with you in the power of never stop learning. Tap into your God-given strengths. Your untapped potential is so huge and so underrated. I think people really need to pre-decide. I love that. And then connect with people. I mean, we've stayed connected,
Yeah,
and yes, don't just get the friends on Facebook, make the friends.
yeah,
And then raise your hand, take that
yeah.
action. Love that. You
And
beautiful thing. Mhm.
Velma, one of the things that is so cool about just making those connections. When I was speaking in a town near you, you showed up for me. You were there for me while I was presenting a keynote presentation, and it meant the world to me. And then you added value to me
Yeah.
afterwards. Those connections are
Yeah.
immense. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I absolutely, you have to support each other. I mean, that is truly modeling the way for leadership in that you show up for each other. So I
yeah,
love that term, and I was actually very pleased to be there. I was nervous, and you were nervous, and so we were just like a bundle of nerves together for each other. But for those that are listening, Gary knocked it out of the park, which you can all expect. And so that was really good. So, Gary, opportunity for you to share with listeners, how can they learn more about you? How can they learn about the resources that you have, follow you? This is your time to shine. So please share how others can connect and learn more about you and what you do.
yeah. Thank you so much. You can find me on my website, thegarygregory.com, and all my information, my resources are listed there. And you can also find my books on Amazon. So you can just look at my name, Gary Gregory, and you'll find all the books that I have available on Amazon. So grab yourself a copy or two and just resource yourself with that. I do have a monthly blog that I send out, so make sure you subscribe to that. But find me at thegarygregory.com.
Yeah, right. Okay, so it's not just Gary Gregory, guys. It
No,
is
oh, know
thegarygregory.com.
it.
Yeah, and we will put that there for others to be able to connect. And he does have a wealth of resources and shares a lot of knowledge. And so tap into that and find Gary. And I know you will love also the episodes of his podcast. Go out to YouTube and put his name in there, the Gary Gregory, and you'll just be you'll have so much to learn, so many people to connect with, and you'll be well primed to raise your hand when the opportunities are there for you. So, Gary, thank you so much for for coming along, having a leadership chat this morning with me. I am just thrilled to have you here, and I can't thank you enough.
Oh, I'm honored, and I give you honor, Velma, for inviting me. So thank you so much for all you do as well.
Hey, thanks so much for watching another episode of Your Leadership Chat. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button here and tap that bell icon so that you never miss another episode. I hope too that you'll give us a thumbs up on the video for a like. And then if you feel led, please share the video with those who need to see it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Your Leadership Chat. Bye for now.